All right, we're live.
I mean, all right.
All right. Well, we're on the silver bullet train right now.
This is the most Mets shit ever right here, because I tweeted out and I said, if this happened against the Mets, if the Mets had the lead and someone reached, unbelievable to lose the game like this. Rosario's got fucking kidding me after having a good night too.
Yeah.
I texted with Clem earlier. I said, this motherfucker's not going down without a fight. You're going to try to steal his job from him. He puts up 3 hits today. But if the Mets had the lead and someone reached on a swinging strike 3, then he would absolutely come around to score. We would absolutely lose the game, because that's what the Mets do. And I said, can the Mets capitalize on a Mets-esque mistake? And no, he just gets fucking picked off. And honestly, shout out to Teddy right there. You don't want to be dramatic, but from here on out, you pretty much have to win like every game. And they had something cooking for a minute there. That really we could look back, and that could be the ultimate Kunzel moment. Like, if you haven't Kunzeled right now, this is a moment. This is a fucking big time Kunzel moment to lose on a pickoff when you were gifted first on a fucking miracle swinging strike.
You're batting last in the order. Like, you have all the big guns coming up.
Right.
Literally, don't even take a step off of first. Just stand there.
On top of the fucking base like my daughter did in T-ball today.
Yep.
The whole 9th inning, too, is such a Mets inning. Leadoff walk that gets your hopes up. Ramos double play that you could basically put in the books no matter how much better he's been swinging. Mario gets on base in some crazy way you start believing, and then pick off to end the game, potentially end the season. That's why we're presented by Coors Light, the beer that's made to chill, because we need this. We need this. We need this to keep us chilled. The Blue Mountains are the only thing keeping us alive right now. Celebrate responsibly, because there's no other way, because this team is irresponsible with our feelings and our heart and our moods.
You know what just happened there? Clem, you know what just happened there? That was like this. You thought you were out of beer. And then you open up the fridge and you're like, oh shit, we got one more beer. But then you grab it and it's not Blue Mountains and it's warm and someone just put it in there. It's like you had a surprise beer that you didn't think was there and you have one more shot and then you realize, nope, never mind. It's not even a cold one. That's what just happened right there with that Rosario pickoff. Unbelievable.
We were in the pregame. We were clowning them the bottom of the order because it was Marisnik, Ramos, and Rosario. I said it was the same in the clowns, and then
it all worked.
Marisnik were 1 for 2. Ramos were 1 for 3. Rosario was 3 for 4. Obviously, Marisnik gets hurt. Nimmo gets that walk. So I'm like, the fucking clowns are the ones, making their presence felt. And then a straight up clown show to end the game. So it ended up being exactly who we thought they were.
You waste a pretty goddamn good start from your reliever. I mean, 5 1/3. I'm not gonna say he spun a gem, but when I had the kids tonight, I get them to bed, I tune in, and he's only given up 1 run. We talked about it in the pregame whether or not they were gonna. This was kind of a game where you were gonna bounce back in the wrong direction after a huge win yesterday, and could Lugo keep it going? He did his job. He got his shit going, and to not score enough to make that stand up. Lugo's got to be pretty pissed about it. And by the way, I've been watching baseball my whole fucking life. 35 years on this planet. Probably been watching, games that I can remember for let's say 29. I have never seen an unassisted put out at third base by a pitcher. I've never seen that in my life. Have you ever seen that? That was insane. I don't know who was running, but he clearly slowed down a little bit, thinking like, well, no one's covering the bag. I'm good. And I cannot believe he and the slick slide into third base. And on the flip side, shout the fuck out to whoever that was. I can't remember running for the Blue Jays who slid into first. I mean, I thought we pretty much put that to bed like 5 years ago. Yeah. I have not seen an idiot slide into first in a long time. It worked out for him. But anyway.
When they're like off the bag, the throw brings them off the bag and they're doing the sweeping tag. Because otherwise it slows you down.
Yeah, right. Then you do it. But if it's just a speed thing, it's insanity. We can talk about
I know it wasn't Kevin Pillar, but that's a Kevin Pillar move from the fucking Blue Jays. If I've ever seen one, such a Kevin move.
Guy who I wanted, by the way, would have been a great center fielder.
No, we don't need center field.
I would have taken it. Yeah, we can sit here and talk about individual plays and shit all night long, but this is a big picture thing here. You gotta
a
be able to
boring
win these games.
regular game that you had to have.
Yep. And I mean, the Blue Jays, you can say the same exact thing about the Blue Jays. So like they need to win these games. They're a good young team, and it's not like we played a bad team who's not in the hunt or anything. So you can say the same thing about them. They handled their business and we didn't. But I mean, it's just like, and that's probably why they will be a playoff team and we will not be. Because in the big picture, you just can't lose those games, and goddamn, you certainly can't lose it on a pickoff. Holy shit! I mean, that's definitely happened before, I would imagine, to us, but I can't remember. When was the last time you saw a game end on a pickoff?
I feel like we have been ended on a pickoff before.
Yeah.
We've definitely never been ended on a pickoff when the guy reached on a
swing strike. Yeah, that's probably. I don't know if that's ever happened. That's a combo right there. That has got to be super rare. By the way, it didn't. Wasn't Babe Ruth involved in a World Series where that ended on a pickoff or a caught stealing or something? It was like Game 7 of a World Series, and it was like a pickoff to end it. Imagine that. That'd be fucking brutal. But that basically is kind of what happened here, because I think you're going to be able to look back and think, because right now, we'll fall like 4 games out or some shit. I mean, that's, this is a game you just can't lose. But you can say that about every game from here on out.
You can't make the first out of third, and you can't make a game-ending play.
Game-ending out at first. We're diving back to first.
I'm trying not to like pile on the guy here, because like I think we all like Rosario going into this year, and especially when he's starting hot. Jimmy doesn't get fucking thrown out at first. It's
he doesn't get
thrown out at first.
No,
he's still second, if anything.
I was dead wrong about Rosario. I thought, well, I mean, I never think positively about the Mets in general, but I thought there was a chance that he was going to take a step forward and be like, I'm the real deal here. Because I kept thinking to myself, man, wouldn't that be nice? Like, we got Pete at first, and yeah, he's struggling, but we know he's going to be our first baseman. We got Conforto, we got McNeil, and it was like, and what if all of a sudden we just had, you could put our shortstop in ink for a change, and then did not happen that way.
It's very tough because it's a shorter season. Like, he hit 285 last year.
I know.
Like, he's not a bad player. It's not that he's a bad player. It's that Jimenez is a better player. Like, he's better IQ, better in the field. So far, he's better hitter.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm not ready to fucking crown Jimenez either, but I'm saying, like, for Rosario to finish at 285, he was hot down the stretch, and the whole second half he was batting 3-something. And I thought, what if that just carries over and we've just got I'm not saying he's fucking Francisco Lindor, but what if we just have our shortstop? And that decidedly did not happen. And things like that are why. I mean, the baseball IQ it's not there.
Not there.
It's just not there. Oh, God. Todd Seal's just for men hair is the only thing. His jet black hair is the only thing.
He's getting tanner and tanner every show.
You sexy motherfucker. And I didn't even realize this whole year. I didn't realize it's the 20th anniversary of the 2000 team, and they showed that Benny Agbayani home run, and it was just better times, better fucking times.
My wife is watching Back to the Future 2 right now in the room.
For her.
And I go, want to feel like shit? I was like, that takes place 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So 5-year anniversary of the 2015 team too, because remember the GOAT's name is Murphy. Mets beat the Cubs, blah blah blah. So that team is a mirage, and almost everyone is dead from the pitching rotation. Did you guys see the report today? Steven Matz might rejoin the rotation. Forgot Steven Matz was even alive. I thought he snapped off the road.
Steven Matz should just opt out and just go home.
That should be another rule of COVID. You can opt out players too. Go home.
He's coming back for you, and we're going to put him back in the rotation when we removed him from the injury. Moved him from the rotation when he was healthy.
I would love.
I hate this team.
If the Mets, if they had a rule where the franchise can opt out 3 players for them, that would be amazing. Like, you're just gone. You might you're not cut, you're not DFA'd, but just right now you go home.
I would love to see how like Brody handles like problems around his house because he doesn't do it the right way. It's always like completely just the dumbest way possible.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
it's just crazy to me. To fix stuff. If like a toilet isn't working, he like installs a new toilet and then throws that toilet in the garbage, brings back the. It's like no, dude. Like you just have to change the seat. That's all you had to change. You don't have to get a whole new fucking toilet.
No, he's like if there's
it makes no sense.
If a light bulb goes out, he's yanking out the whole fixture. It's like all you need to do is get a light bulb, dude. You're ripping apart the fucking electrical wiring here. By the way, even just looking at Rosario there, this is super nitpicking, but he slid to like the front half of the bag there. And like in a play where inches matter, like get your ass towards the fucking back corner, man.
It's IQ. It's IQ.
But then because he was the number one prospect for 2 years. Every time like anything comes up about him,
like in all
baseball, not just for us, yes. Like, how are you that good in AAA? You're not like Kirk Neuenhuis, where you're a quadruple A player. Like, you're a major league player,
right?
And you're better than all of these dudes who are now all stars in the major leagues. Like, what's the disconnect there?
Yeah, that to me is mental. Probably a bit of an organizational thing, but also you really just got to look at Rosario as a total bust in that sense because it's like people were looking at you as a fucking supposed like franchise player, and then really there's your argument. By the way, everybody loves homegrown talent. Myself included, not nearly as much as some of these other fans, though, who just like crave the only way you can like win is with homegrown talent. But here's the poster child for when you should move those guys. I mean, his stock was through the fucking roof probably when he was a number one prospect in all of baseball. Who knows what you could have got for him, and now instead you got nothing. You got nothing.
Like Dilson, this isn't Herrera or like Lastings Millage.
No, right.
This is a dude who was proven and like they thought was going to be
at a premium position too.
Yes, exactly.
So they just put up all the standings. So we got. All right, that's only 2 games back. I thought this was 3, and I thought they were going to fall back to 4. But they're still 2 games back. Although a couple games are probably going to go final here. But god damn.
It's almost like with the survival runs, we just have to get as many wins in now because then the Cardinals are just going to be basically playing the playoff race in all those double headers and like that. So we just need to pile up your wins and then just see your lead slowly get chipped away. Hopefully not chipped away, but potentially chipped away by double header games every single day. It's fucking so weird. It's so weird.
Dude, what's weird is looking at like all of these kind of mediocre teams. I mean, even the Braves are a good team at only 8 games over. It's just a bizarre year. Aside from like the Dodgers, who are just like we're fucking good. Everyone else is
stupid.
Not. But I mean, this is where we can do these shows. We can talk about it. We can keep our hopes up. I mean, we're not even a 500 team. Like it's hard to really talk about playoffs, and even if you make the playoffs, and I know it's a short season, so you can say anything can happen. And I've made the exact opposite argument on this very show before. But when you take a step back and just come to your senses, it's like we lose more often than we win. We're not a postseason team.
And this is the thing too. We said Lugo 5 1/3, 3 earned, whatever. He pitched pretty well, and I mean, I do think he's better in the bullpen for us this year and in general. But like having a guy who could actually, if he could become a starter, we need him more as a starter almost in the future, right? Because we don't have fucking starters.
I don't know. It's like to me, you always want starting pitching as like more valuable, but as a Mets fan, a bullpen, my kids are up. I'll be back in a second.
All right, cool. No, I hear that for sure. I mean, especially as a Mets fan, it's just like going into next year. It's DeGrom. I mean, Syndergaard if he comes back and he has surgery and all that stuff, and then Peterson, I guess, looks good. Thank fucking God, Peterson. If Peterson didn't look good, I don't even know. I'd be like losing my mind right now. But like Waka, Ricky Two Freds.
I mean, Porcello signed a 1-year deal, right? I think Waka might have been 2.
Right about that, yeah. It was just 1 year. I mean, and Brody won't be around to fucking re-up with them. Stroman, I don't think there's a chance for him to come back.
No, unless I actually don't even want them to re-sign him. Like he hasn't done enough. He's a one-time All-Star. Like he has been good in Toronto, but he gets hurt all the time. I mean, we have a ton of guys who it's like, oh, he could be good. Like that's Syndergaard. That is Syndergaard in a nutshell. Like, he's been great for 1 year, and it's like, okay, well, we have 1 more year with him. Are you going to extend him? Yeah, because he's got the body, he's got the height, he throws fastballs. Like, sure, for the potential. But aside from that, it's like, I would rather have Lugo, who's crafty. He's kind of like DeGrom.
Yep.
And Peterson's lefty, so that's fine.
Yep.
And then you got Matz. Matz, get the fuck off my team.
Oh, wow.
He has never been the guy where it's like, he came up during the 15 run, and he had like 4 or 5 starts, and everyone just anointed him like, oh, like he's going to be part of like the 4 horsemen. And It was the 4 horsemen and Bartolo. Meanwhile, Bartolo was the guy they should have just kept.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Max. It's like every single one of those guys, including Wheeler, who was obviously hurt when all those other guys came up, but every other one of those guys kind of like established themselves. And Max did have like good starts and a couple good runs, but like there was never a time where it was like, oh, Max is that dude. It was like there was times where he looked, all right, Max is getting there. It was like he had the debut. He had some good momentum. I'm not gonna say it was shit, but yeah, it's like I don't know about. I'm not ready to say get the fuck off my team just because like he's our 5th starter basically in my mind and 4th at bat. But we were relying on him to go be number 2 at some point of the season, and that shit did not happen. So.
In the minors who got shelled, but like I'd rather give that guy a shot. Like,
yeah,
it's so tough when he's been here for 5 years already, and we're going into year 6, and like he can't put it together, and he's been hurt every single season. So what are you going to do with that long term? 6 years is long term. Like you got to move on at that point.
100%. And I mean, they say always with like all sports, the way you scout your own team is more important than the way you scout the other team because you're not going to know, but you know that guy. He's been in your building for years. You've had him in Matt's case, since you drafted him. So they have to know what they have. Hopefully they do. I mean, it's going to be like another regime coming in and hopefully doing it right. And this is where it's going to hurt us too. Like again, kind of like Kev said with the prospects, you could love, hate prospects or whatever, but when you just keep trading away young pitching prospects in trades for bullshit that didn't do anything for us, like Brody did, whether or not you fucking love Justin Dunn or the dudes from Simeon Richardson or whatever, all those guys, Tony Buckets, it's like you have to hope those guys are just guys you throw in the 4 and 5 spot, and if they stick and they move up, that's it's cheap options there instead of hoping a Waka or a Porcello hits. So that's where this Brody era is going to hurt us, is in the next few years when the Kalenics of the world are coming up and to fill spots for dirt cheap and hope and could become awesome. You know what I mean? So I don't know what we're going to do with. That's why I feel like Lugo, you got it. If you're not going to fix the starters any other way, I feel like you keep them there. And I mean, we've talked about the bullpen 1,000 times. Like, guys get hot for a year, cold for a year. If fucking people trust Diaz, if Skinny Familia stays skinny. What is Skinny Familia's numbers this year? What is he at? 3.48 ERA. All right, I could live with that. Castro's fucking – I just like his look. I just like Castro's look. He definitely is the guy, like we said – you could definitely see him just getting his ass tatted on at any given moment. But I just like his swagger. I love the socks. I love the kicks, the Jordans, all that kind of stuff. And
he's the prototypical Mets reliever. Like you like the way he looks. You like the way he runs out to the mound. He takes the ball, and you're like, "Fuck."
He reminds me of Mejia, where he has that swag. Remember when he do the little fucking moonwalk off the mound and shit like that? I love Tanner.
That's the problem, though. It's like, most teams that have a great closer, they're usually homegrown. Like, you usually don't trade for a closer. The closer stays on the team that they're at, and if they do get moved, they usually implode. I can't think of a single person aside from Chapman that's moved teams, and you're like, that dude's the dude. Like Trevor Hoffman, Padres, stayed there the whole time. Mariano Rivera, Yankees, stayed there the whole time. Who else?
Yeah,
everyone else, it's like a year to year. Gagne was on steroids, but he was great for 3 or 4 years with the Dodgers. The second those dudes move, it's like even Familia. When Familia broke the record, he wasn't even the closer. It was supposed to be Mejia until he got suspended for his entire career.
Yeah, I think that's when it's when the teams analyze their guy and they're like, oh, this is our guy. They don't let him leave. Jensen with the Dodgers, right? And then, but like. Papelbon, the Red Sox let Papelbon go, and then he just doesn't stay with Papelbon. You know what I mean?
Andrew Miller went to Cleveland. He did good for that first year, but after that, and like he got hurt, and you can't. There's no long-term longevity to these guys. There's a reason why it's that they don't get paid a premium, and that's why like Lugo wants to move to being a starter because they get money and they know that they're going to be long term, like the guy.
Yeah.
It's
And
there's no
again,
such thing as a closer anymore at this point.
I think we could fill. I mean, can you fill a Lugo spot if he's as good as he was last year in the bullpen? I mean, that is a tough spot to fill, but I think you can fill like bullpen spots pretty like not easily, but you know there's guys out there where the starting market. I feel like it's Bauer. There's a couple other guys, and then it's like really kind of you're taking chances. And again, we don't have anyone coming up from the minors, so we just shipped them all out for 2 fucking shitty teams. And again, Lugo gives up the runs. You got to get more than 2 runs off of who was it? Robbie Ray and Merriweather was the other one. So 1 off of Ray, 1 off of Merriweather, and then like the offense just has to play better. 2 runs is not going to cut it, man. It's I don't understand this team sometimes. This lineup drives me crazy because there's no reason, especially when the fucking clown portion of the lineup's hitting and getting on base. Everyone else has to knock. And Pete's lost. I love him. He's chasing right now, but he could turn it around in a day. But he's just I'm not expecting anything from him other than strikeouts at this point.
I feel like when you're slumping, when you're a power hitter, it's either you're boom or bust. Like you're gonna have a great game where you're gonna go 2 for 3, 2 for 4, whatever it is, and hit home runs like he's been doing because he leads the team in home runs. But if you're not hitting for average, there's something not clicking on any given night. Like it's baseball, so can be some good nights where you're gonna hit your pitches and you're not gonna miss them. But for the long term of the season, his timing is off, his launch angle's off. He's getting jammed. It's just like there's been no point where I've been like he looks like he's locked in.
Yep. And I'm kind of chalking up this whole season. I'm trying to just go like glass half full on everything as it's still going on. It's like hopefully this is the season where Pete realizes adjustments are being made to him, kind of like I don't want to say humbles him a little bit, but kind of like brings him down because he's not just like the perfect, guy who just comes in and can just mash. And again, his homers are there, but he's obviously struggled a lot more both in the field and at the plate. I hope Lugo can stretch into a starter if that's what he wants to do and what the team wants to do with him. This is the perfect basically audition for that. And I mean, one less year Cano's contract on the books. That's awesome. He's down to what? He's down to 323 average now. Not that I'm rooting for it, but he's no longer batting like 700, which was that seemed unsustainable at the time. Whereas Dom's 328, that's only going to go up in my book because that motherfucker is good.
Contact, and that's what I said about Pete last year. So take it for what it's worth, but he looks phenomenal at all times, and I chalk it up to him getting his sleep mask on. He was snoring, he couldn't get his sleep. He was like, I was lethargic all the time. I was always out there and I didn't feel like I had it, and all of a sudden he's got the face mask on. He's like Darth Vader going to bed, and next thing you know, he can hit baseballs.
It's all it takes, baby. Fucking get 8 more of those masks for the rest of this lineup, and that'll be the fucking problem here. Maybe everyone's snoring and can't get sleep. They're looking like I know our boy Large has the CPAP going on right now too. So
Long Strider 420 said make Conforto captain. All for that. Yeah. The fact that people were calling for Pete to be captain after one season, this just goes to show there's a reason why it took so long for David Wright to be captain. There's a reason why there's only been a certain number of captains for the New York Mets, and it's tough to keep it going for an entire career. So I hope that this is a wake-up call for Pete. I hope that he knows that he's got to get back to the grindstone and he's not doing fucking YouTube conversations at first. But we'll see.
The captain's tough. I mean, that's the thing too is every now whoever the next captain is going to be, it's going to be compared to David Wright and those are the biggest shoes to fill, and not even obviously statistically if you just take what he did for his whole career, but I mean everyone who I imagine is watching or listening to this remembers just how fucking good he was in his prime, healthy, but how he basically makes the guy could walk on water. So we're talking David Wright right now. Just reminiscing about it.
They wanted to give Alonso captain after a year, and here's where we're at.
Whoa, wait. What's going on? First of all, I just fucking getting Keegan back to bed, and then I sat down, and that very delicious bottle of Coke just spilled all over my fucking couch, and then I sat on it. So now my ass is soaking wet in Coca-Cola. God damn it! When it rains, it pours, man. When it rains,
it's all delicious Coors Lights. Making us
okay.
kill.
Yeah, I should. What am I doing? If I had a Coors Light, it wouldn't have spilled on me. It wouldn't have betrayed me like that.
You would have drank it all. It would be empty. It would be an empty can spilling on your couch.
100%. Because Lord knows I would have downed it by now. Right on that pickoff, it would have been gone. So you want to give Pete captain?
No, we're saying that all the fans were like,
no,
he's going to be captain after a year. And I said, you need longevity. You need to be like the David Wright numbers. It shows how hard it is to be that guy.
Because there's no point. Like, you don't. First of all, you don't need to do it. Period. It's not like something that like every team has or needs. And second of all, if there is one, it's Jacob deGrom. I don't know if you can have a non-everyday player be your captain, but like Jake is like, he runs that fucking team. At least he better. And third of all, Pete's got to put up a lot more than just that, you know.
Jacob deGrom would be like the most ignored captain ever. Like, dude, we don't even score runs for you. We don't protect you. But we don't
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah,
barely speaks.
He should be the captain figure, and instead it's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna. I mean, really think about it. If Steve Cohen comes along and the next, let's say, 4 years they really blow it out, otherwise he'll be one of the most wasted of all time, right up there with guys like David Wright and a lot of the other guys that we've never built around. But I mean, if he wins this year and he gets 3 in a row, how many do you think he finishes with? 4, 5?
I'd say 4. I see him winning one more. I honestly feel like in typical Mets fashion, once we're ready to actually compete, it'll be when Jake is on the downswing and you're hoping for like 6-7 innings 2 earned instead of hoping for a shutout.
Which will suck. I almost hope that doesn't happen like at all. I don't want to see him like limping in the playoffs. But I mean, you look at when Randy Johnson was doing 4 in a row, the Diamondbacks won it. When Greg Maddux did 4 in a row, that one of those seasons had to be the Braves, the one year they won it. If Jake just does the casual 3, 4, and 5 years, something like that, and it's all just like for non-playoff teams, like forget about a championship. Just like, oh yeah, he was just doing that for nobody. Like, God damn it.
Fuck, man. It's like, because then you're just looking back at all the best players of this century, basically. It's like David Wright, just like he had the 06 moment, 07 away collapses, and then like his career just gets wiped off. Jake has his 2015 moment where he was like just showing his guts in the playoffs, and then he just pitches Cy Youngs. It's like a tree falling in the forest. Like It doesn't even sound, basically. It was.
When did you realize that Jake was actually the best? Like, I can't pinpoint the moment, but it was all Harvey at first when the Seaver comparisons were flying around, and then Syndergaard came on the scene, and then like there was never a specific start or moment for me. It was just like this steady thing where all of a sudden you look up and you're like, wait a minute, Jake is that dude. Forget about these other fucking bums. He makes these guys look like trash.
I liked Jake. Jake was my guy pretty early just because I honestly knows him because it was good. I mean, I liked him, but I just liked his demeanor and like just the way he went about it. Yeah. I compared him to Rick Reed, and it's such like a slap in the face now looking back. But Rick Reed was my guy on those late '90s Mets.
Yeah,
and it was just like that's what I thought Jake was, like the same demeanor. It turns out that is more closer to Pedro Martinez.
Than Rick Reed.
His first start against the Yankees. The Yankees, I think that they 2-hit the Mets. I think he had one of the 2 hits and the only RBI, and he lost the game, and he only let up 1 run. Yeah. And then I was working for the team in 2014 into 15, and Ed Kranepool, who's like their guy, he's coming in, and everyone's pumped about Harvey coming back from surgery. And he flat out told all of the fans that were there for like the event and all of the employees, he goes, yeah, Harvey's got a pretty good fastball, but he has no idea how to pitch. He's like, Jacob deGrom is one of the best pitchers I've seen. And that was only 2 years into it. And I was like, oh, fuck. He's not wrong.
And listen, when Ed speaks, you listen, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird trajectory for him where it was like, didn't come up with the same hype, then just slowly became that dude, eventually became the best pitcher of like a generation without people still really not like, they're not acknowledging that. He's the best in this generation. He is. and he's gonna do it for a fraction of the money he should have made.
Yeah.
And if I have hope that Steve Cohen will turn it all around, but there's a chance that he does it all for like one postseason appearance.
That's who our captain should be, Steve Cohen. Buy the team. So I want Steve Cohen to wear a full uniform like he's a manager up in his box, put a fucking legitimate C on his chest too. Just be the captain. You're everything to us right now, Steve.
The true king of New York is coming. By the way, we have some T-shirts in the works, but we also do need some feedback from you guys because, like I'll be honest, I was just gonna throw the pointing man on a T-shirt, and then we did it and we mocked it up. And it looks really fucking stupid. And I know what the pointing man represents and I love it. And part of me was like, I would love to wear a T-shirt like that. And then I saw it and I was like, that's a piece of shit T-shirt. So any Steve Cohen type of shirt ideas, we have a couple others in the works, don't worry, that will be coming out. But if you have your own Steve Cohen shirt ideas, let us know. And if you have your own designs, if you're out there and you do artwork, you want to make your own Cohen design, we'll always throw a few bucks your way if we actually pick your shirt and put it into production, because we're gonna have to focus on things like
DM
that.
us on We Gotta Believe on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Also follow, which would be great.
Because unfortunately, the way I'm feeling right now, it's gonna be talking about T-shirts and the future, and not so much this year. But
I got bad news. Future Met JT Realmuto left the game with a hip injury tonight, so we're losing our guys. We're losing our future guys. Our future guys are going.
You know what? Maybe that just means his price drops a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Because people are making a good point. Like, I don't know if Uncle Stevie is going to invest big money in a 30-year-old catcher or whatever for like a big money for.
Well, I was talking to Hubs about that. I'm like, listen, he's a good player, but his value is because he's at such a position where it's scarce, Yeah. Which I understand, no doubt. But I don't know. I do think you can make the argument that that's not the place to start with your big bucks spending. Unless it's going to be like, dude, don't worry. I'm going to blow it out and we're going to buy everybody. And this guy just happens to be available off the bat. But I really don't. I mean, it rarely works, It rarely is like, I mean, who's like the big money catchers, like Mallor kind of like fell apart, and you'll inevitably be trying to play him at first base, or I guess you could DH him now with the NL, but it just seems like it's not. If it was like if they were on the precipice right now and you could go get him at 30 and that's like the missing piece, fine. But if you're going to like rely on him through 32, 33, 34 as you turn this it's like turning a fucking boat around. It's going to take a little while. I don't know if that's the move. But again, maybe Steve's just like we can absorb it if it's not the most efficient of signings.
If it's one of three, if it's like Real Muto, if it's like Springer, or like it's like we're gonna get Real Muto, we're gonna get like Lindor in a trade, and we're gonna do something with center that's gonna be legit, and then with the rest of the team, and then obviously you have to get pitching as well. But if he's part of like a major acquisition, Yatsa was there. Then they had the old root already there. Then they made the other trades to fill in around him, and then obviously Hampton and stuff like that was like the crowning piece that got us to the World Series. That would make sense. But yeah,
to me, I still feel like Arenado is going to be like wanting to get out of there, and the Rockies are going to have to like look themselves in the mirror and recognize that they're going to have to move him. And
so stupid,
my guy, huh?
His contract is so stupid. They gave him a no trade clause that he didn't ask for, and so they were trying to trade him, and he was like no, dude.
I mean, I guess you can always say to yourself, well, I'm going to hit like 20 points higher and 10 more home runs because of Coors Field. But I would imagine at some point in your career, you want to get the fuck out and go somewhere real and try to win. And I think that Cohen is going to be that in New York. But that's pie in the sky shit. When you're starting to bank on guys who are already signed, it's a little ridiculous. But
I want Nolan Arenado so bad now. I'm just going to drink about it.
Could you imagine if you got a sign trade for Arenado and you just go straight up and buy Lindor, and you're the left half of your infield is Arenado and Lindor? Let's fucking go, Steve. You want to make a move? Let's do it.
Oh, I'm gonna sing "Dreaming of You" by Selena to Nolan Arenado's baseball reference page.
Cause I'm dreaming. All right, boys. I mean,
We're still on the
this is a
train.
bad one.
Still on the silver bullet.
Yep. I said it. We're either going to be cracking them in celebration or cracking them to drown sorrows. And unfortunately, it's Bubble and B on the Scantron tonight. But we're back at it again tomorrow. Here we go. It's the fucking
307,
Joker
boys.
meme.
307.
307. Fucking
And I mean,
Toronto
in the middle of
Buffalo.
an NFL Sunday, too. This is one of those days. I'll tell you what tomorrow is, Clem, for me. This is one of those days
Oh boy, yeah.
where it all goes wrong, where the Bills beat the fuck out of the Jets and the Mets get their doors blown off. And I look up around 6-7 p.m. on Sunday and I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? That's what tomorrow is.
I don't like being I don't like having to go near this. I know there's a hurricane coming and I have to drive through the hurricane because of you. I have to drive to your house. I'm like, dude, there's a hurricane. You're like, yeah, man, but I got to go home. I'm like, all right, I got to go through. It's like, my team plays on Monday. They're fucking.
Yeah, you're good. You're on easy street. I got to go right in.
It's going to be like a goddamn disgust. It's going to be such a gross game. It's going to be a 13-10. It's going to be a slop fest. And whatever the Jets do is going to impact the Mets. I'm giving the Jets the loss for tomorrow if the Mets lose because that is 110,000% on them.
The universe is the universe, they're all in cahoots, man. So buckle the fuck up if you are a Mets Jets fan because tomorrow is going to get ugly. You want to believe in something? Believe that. Believe that. It's going to be an ugly one tomorrow. So put on your big boy pants because tomorrow is one of those days. Tomorrow's one of those days where the 18-year-olds, where the new kids on the block, where the 18-year-old fans who are Mets and Jets fans who are like, Darnold's the real deal. We're going to win a Super Bowl soon. And the Mets are like, you shouldn't get down on the Mets. Tomorrow is where you become a man. You go from a boy to a man tomorrow. Your nuts drop. What happens is your nuts drop and someone kicks them in it immediately. You become a man, and then you get fucking annihilated. So buckle up, because that's what's happening tomorrow, motherfuckers. Believe that. Drink your Coors Light.